So that was ninth on the list? When Joker won his championship, that was ninth on the list? Oh, no, man. See, this is my first real problem with the list.
Rose up and drilled one of the most iconic, dynasty-saving shots in NBA history. That shot saved LeBron's legacy, but the entire finals was an all-time war. Game 1 gave...
Nah, did you hear what he said, too? Because LeBron fans like to get mad at me. They like to get mad at me for saying Dwayne Wade and Ray Allen saved LeBron's career. Why are you getting mad at me? What will LeBron be without D-Wade? What will LeBron be without Ray Allen hitting that shot? I know what Tim Duncan would be if Ray Allen didn't hit that shot. Tim Duncan would be 6-0. Oh, my God. And welcome back to Mischief Entertainment, man. As you can see on the screen, I'm going to say it again, man. I said this in a previous video. Did y'all ever heard The Rock, when The Rock go, can you smell what cooking? That's how it feels. That's how I feel when I say that. You know, that's like my signature, statement. You know what I'm saying? I love saying that. So I'm going to say it one more. As you can see on the screen. Welcome back to Mischief Entertainment, man. We are watching a video or reacting to a video that is ranking the last 15 NBA playoffs from least to most aura. And if you don't know what aura is, in a sense, you can just say the most impressive. The most impressive out of the last 15 NBA playoffs from least to most aura, man. Now listen, I saw this video. I immediately knew I was going to react to this video. This is going to be good for the channel. We talk about sports all the time. Now, shout out the guy who made this video, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm kind of using this as a cheat code, as a shortcut, you know what I'm saying? Instead of kind of doing the work myself, I'm going to let this guy line up the last 15 NBA playoff champions, and we gonna react to it. We gonna see if we agree, where we put other people, but that's the point of why I came here, because I feel like this is a conversation we can have together. We talk about sports again. Welcome back to Mischief Entertainment, baby. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. Let's get to the video.
2017. From the second Kevin Durant joined the 73-win Warriors, the 2017 NBA playoffs were cooked. This entire postseason was the definition of a foregone conclusion. The Warriors went 12-0 in the West. The Cavs went 12-1 in the East. LeBron was so unchallenged, he literally grabbed a beer from a courtside vendor during live play. The number 1 seed Celtics got humiliated at home, losing Game 2 of the East Finals by 44 points. The one single moment of suspense came in Game 1 of the West Finals, when the Spurs stormed out to a 25-point lead on the Warriors. It looked like we might actually have a series. Then, Zaza slid his foot under Kawhi Leonard, ending his night and the entire playoffs. The Warriors swept.
That's just I don't know if I said it, but I don't mean to pause this a lot. But they brought up like a soft spot for me, because y'all know I'm a Kawhi fan, man. Listen. Listen, at a point in time, I was saying Kawhi was the best player in the NBA, man. Do you understand that everything that we are dealing with today in the present day with Kawhi Leonard is derived from that night we just saw? It was derived from that one injury that Zaza Pachulia created. That injury was so bad, the NBA actually came out and changed rules saying you got to give shooters space to land. If you don't, that's They were up by 25 on the KD Warriors. And I remember back in that time too, I was called insane because I was saying the Spurs could win. I was like, you know something, the Warriors don't have a two-way superstar like Kawhi Leonard. You ever have someone, I'm going to say it, you ever have someone bust your ass and they don't say nothing to you the entire time? It's just like a walk in the park. I said Kawhi Leonard was different. I said Kawhi Leonard could put the whole team on his back. Kawhi Leonard was like the Ray Lewis of the Spurs. And then they took him out. Let's continue the video,
there were
man.
moments.
Breaking my heart.
Heroic
hey, IT
was legendary. Westbrook posting a 51-point triple-double was insane, but they both lost. The finals were just the inevitable conclusion. KD hit his dagger over LeBron in Game 3, and Golden State finished their 16-1 run. This was the most predictable, low-stakes postseason in NBA history. Number 14. 2024. In the second
Hey, they
round,
got it correct
Anthony
so
Edwards
far.
and
The
Timberwolves
KD Warriors,
yeah,
no aura, not impressive.
Thrown the defending champion Nuggets. Tyrese Halliburton's Pacers stunned Giannis and Dame and then silenced Madison Square Garden in another Game 7. Luka Doncic dismantled the number 1 seed Thunder. It felt like a true changing of the guard. And then everyone just lost. The conference finals were a joke. The Celtics steamrolled the Pacers in a sweep. The Mavericks handled the Wolves easily. The finals were no better. The Celtics' redemption tour was a 5-game gentleman's sweep where the most memorable moment was Derek White chipping his tooth. Kyrie got booed, Jaylen Brown won MVP, and the Celtics finally hung banner 18. But all the real aura was burned out by the third round. Number 13, 2015. The 2015
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Moments.
It was kind of
In the first round,
anticlimactic
a
at the
hobbled
end.
Chris
Is that the
Paul
right
hit a
word?
falling banked-in game winner over Tim Duncan to end the Spurs title defense in Game 7. In the second round, Derrick Rose hit a miracle bank shot buzzer beater, only for LeBron to hit his own iconic baseline buzzer beater 2 days later, famously vetoing his coach's play call. So why is it ranked this low? Because injuries killed the final product. By the time we got to the finals, the product was completely compromised. Kevin Love was already out with a dislocated shoulder. Then Kyrie Irving fractured his kneecap in Game 1. What we were left with was a one-man band LeBron waging a heroic but hopeless war against the rising Warriors dynasty. The series gave us the birth of the death lineup and a surprise finals MVP in Andre Iguodala, but it was a total what if of a series. Number 12, 2012. The 2012 playoffs had legendary moments, but we gotta be honest, the whole thing was cursed from the start. Just hours into Game 1 of the first round, reigning MVP Derrick Rose tore his ACL in a game that was already decided. The league's most electric player was gone, Chicago's title hopes evaporated, and the entire Eastern Conference bracket was blown wide open. LeBron finally got his crown. His legacy-saving Game 6 in Boston, a 45-15 match.
Real quick too though, real quick. I want to touch on something real quick. Cause Tom Thibodeau, cause the Knicks right now, they talk about the Knicks with Tom Thibodeau, without Tom Thibodeau. Can I ask y'all a question? When it comes to D Rose and that injury, how much do we still put on Tom Thibodeau? Because he plays all his stars in an excruciating amount of minutes. Because I remember at the time, that was kind of like the talk of the time too. Like, man, one of the reasons D Rose actually did get hurt was because, Tom Thibodeau gonna play him 40 plus minutes a night. Do we still blame Tom Thibodeau for that? D Rose fans, touch base with me.
Incredible and arguably the best thing that happened this playoffs. And the West had its moments. The young Thunder came back from an 0-2 deficit to dethrone the Spurs. The Clippers staged a 27-point comeback against Memphis, but the finals felt anticlimactic. The Heat handled the 23-year-old Thunder in 5 games. This was a solid playoffs, but it just doesn't have enough to move up the list. Number 11. 2023. The 2023 playoffs were pure, uncut anarchy. An 8-seed Miami Heat team led by a possessed Jimmy Butler delivered one of the all-time upsets, dropping 56 points to humiliate the number 1 seed Bucks. Dylan Brooks called LeBron James old and promptly got sent home by the 7-seed Lakers. We got the Light the Beam Kings in a 7-game classic.
Hey, that Dylan Brooks shit, I remember that. That was the year the Rocks was trash talking the Lakers and LeBron a lot that year. Was that year? I think specifically that was the year the Rockets were saying they wanted LeBron because LeBron was old.
Warriors.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Steph Curry dropping a 50-point Game 7 bomb. Jason Tatum saw that and answered with 51 points of his own in another Game 7. It was madness. The Heat went up 3-0, the Celtics clawed back to 3-3, capped by Derek White's impossible 0.2-second buzzer beater to force Game 7.
It's off the smoke for the 7th game.
The greatest comeback ever was teed up, and then Boston got blown out on their home floor. Meanwhile, the Nuggets just kind of won. They swept the Lakers, they dismantled the Heat in 5 games, and Jokic completed one of the most statistically dominant runs in history. And his legendary
Hey, what's this
reaction
ranked? Hold
was,
on.
Job
Hold
is
on.
done. We can go home now. This was a fun playoffs. Honestly, every NBA playoffs is fun for me. But in this list, it takes a complete playoffs to rank high. This one had its moments, but the Western Conference was pretty uneventful due to Jokic's dominance, and nobody thought the Heat had a chance in the finals. Number 10.
So that was 9th on the list? When Joker won his championship, that was 9th on the list? Oh no, man. See, this is my first real problem with the list. Now listen, what y'all gotta understand about that Denver Nuggets team is they was coming the whole time. They was coming the whole time. And for me, it was one of those West teams that I feel like a lot of people for some reason just didn't believe in. For some I remember back in the day when the Golden State Warriors played the San Antonio Spurs, and they gave the Spurs all that they could take. It was the second round, I believe. I don't remember what year, but I remember watching that Warriors team fight against San Antonio, and I was like, if there's somebody we need to watch in the West, I think it's Golden State. I think because listen, San Antonio Spurs play such a beautiful brand of basketball, and I'm watching Golden State match it with better three-point shooters. I was scared. As a Spurs fan back in the day with Tim Duncan and them in the crew with Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, it was very few times I was like actually scared. Golden State kind of scared me. The same thing with Denver. Right? Y'all gotta remember, Jamal Murray got hurt that one year and he missed the entire playoffs. But the entire time I'm watching it, and when we watching Joker and all that, I'm like, if you get Batman and you get Robin, this team is one of them teams. So watching Denver go through the playoffs the way they did, and then watching them do what they did to the Lakers, and then, the Heat didn't really stand a chance. But for me, and I feel like a lot of sports world, it was like Joker's I'm here moment. It was like, I got my Robin. We healthy. Y'all see what we can do. That should be higher than 9. And I'm watching the Thunder. The Thunder should not be ranked above Denver's championship, bro. No, hold on.
The 2025 playoffs were a complete reset of the entire league. In the first round, the Timberwolves eliminated the unbeatable new Laker duo of LeBron and Luka. Giannis was gone.
Listen, guy. The unbeatable duo of LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Listen, I remember when that happened. I called it. I knew the Wolves was gonna win that because who's gonna play defense? They didn't have no defenders, and LeBron was getting older. And I liked Luka Doncic, but at the end of the day, I was like, Luka Doncic is a walking cone, and the only other person on the team that can help is LeBron James. They only have 2 people.
On in round 1,
who thought they were unbeatable?
Went down with series-ending injuries in round 2. This chaos cleared the path for Tyrese Halliburton, who went crazy. His Pacers upset the number 1 seed Cavs, winning a game they trailed by 7 with under a minute left. In the Eastern Conference Finals, they were down 14 to the Knicks with 2 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, and they won in overtime. This led to a small market finals against the 68-win Thunder, a juggernaut versus a team of destiny. It became the first Game 7 finals since 2016, but in a moment of pure tragedy, Halliburton tore his Achilles early in Game 7. SGA, who had already won the regular season MVP and the scoring title, seized the moment, winning finals MVP and capping off one of the greatest individual seasons ever. Had Tyrese not gotten injured and the Pacers pulled this off, we're talking about a playoffs that would have rivaled any on this list. But that's not how it went down. Number 9.
That's being honest, man. That's being honest. And honestly, that was a fun playoffs too. That was a great playoffs. And honestly, I would say the reason I'm kind of low on OKC's championship as far as aura or being impressed, you know what I'm saying? It's because Tyrese Halliburton got injured. You know what I'm saying? For as much as people might like the Thunder, for as many wins that they do get in the regular season, there was still a bit of skepticism about the Thunder as a whole. Even watching them go through the Western Conference, you feel me? And then we watched Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers push them to a Game 7. So there's always that little bit of like unknown of like, what if Halliburton stayed injured? Would the Thunder have actually pulled it off? And then on top of that, the free throw merchant stuff kind of kills that Thunder run a little bit. And listen, I'm one of the people who's kind of on the side of, calling SGA a free throw merchant. And this is what I tell people about SGA, really. I just don't like the fact that he can come down the court and literally shoulder block your center so hard. Right? It could be your center, power forward, shooting guard. But I've seen this guy come down the court and push some of the biggest, toughest, strongest guys in the NBA so hard that they almost fall backwards. This is the truth. I have seen SGA do it. And then on the other hand, I've watched this guy act like if wind blows, he's a piece of paper because now he's flailing through the wind. That's what kills me about SGA's free throws. It's not even the fact that he kind of gets them. You know, it's more how he gets them. It's the flailing around the court that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? But I think for a lot of people, the Tyrese Halliburton injury and the fact that they, you know, the free throw merchant stuff kind of kills it. You know what I'm saying? And now I would say this. The Thunder do got a special type of opportunity because if they go back to back, you know what I'm saying, outside of some crazy injuries happening in the playoffs, they didn't double down. And that'd make it look more impressive for last year even. So if they could double down.
In the
woo!
second round, Kevin Durant's toe was 1 inch from ending Milwaukee's season after a 48-point Game 7 masterpiece. And Ben Simmons, standing directly under the basket, passed up a wide-open, game-tying dunk that cost the #1 seed 76ers their season. Trae Young became the ultimate villain, hitting a game winner at Madison Square Garden, shushing the crowd, and taking...
Oh, yeah, shout out my boy Trae Young. This was another good year. I remember this too, man. Listen, the New Yorkers was going crazy. They was talking about screw Trae Young, This was a good year, man. I remember this.
5 games later, LeBron James was handed his first ever first-round exit, and the Suns won a conference finals game on the Valley Oop, a 0.9-second alley-oop dunk at the buzzer. This all led to Giannis. After a terrifying knee injury that looked like it would end his career, he returned for the finals. Down 0-2, he delivered the block on DeAndre Ayton and finished the Suns with a 50-point, 5-block clincher in Game 6. And
dang, guys, let's remember something real quick too. That is DeAndre Ayton's peak. As far as DeAndre Ayton as an NBA player, right, I would say it felt like that season with the Suns was his best season. That's when he peaked. I just think that's crazy to think about, with, you know, DeAndre Ayton being on the Lakers now and some of the things he's saying, like they want me to be Clint Capella. Like, bro, you're not even a good Clint Capella. It's an effort thing. Nobody thinks you put in enough effort. You come to the game tired or something. Listen, get this guy some Red Bull gives you wings, okay? Get this guy some Red Bull or something.
All-time performance to win a title.
That's just crazy to think about. I wanted to point that out. Shout out my boy Giannis, though.
But this playoffs really only gave us 2 super memorable moments: Kevin Durant's toe and Giannis's finals block. You could also say Giannis's closeout Game 6. It had aura, but just not on the same level as the rest of the list. Number 8.
So that's 9? That's tough. Because I think that Giannis run had a lot of aura. Listen, I might, at the end of this, I might just pull up Google and Google the last 15 and rank it for myself so y'all know. But that Giannis run, especially with the whole I don't got to go build super teams, I can get it on my own. That was the name of the game the entire time Giannis was doing that run. He came at everybody in the NBA. And if you know me, I'm an old school brother. I loved it. He told KD, you needed Steph Curry. I'll do it in Milwaukee. Listen, I loved it, man. I'm about to rank these myself afterwards.
Playoffs are defined by one image: LeBron James, arms outstretched, staring in disbelief as J.R. Smith dribbled out the clock in a tied Game 1 of the finals. LeBron had just dropped 51 points, and it didn't matter. That moment broke him. He punched a whiteboard after the game, playing the rest of the series with a broken hand, and the Cavs got swept. The finals was a zero-aura disaster, but the run-up was actually pretty decent. LeBron dragged a roster of scrubs to the finals, hitting a buzzer beater to beat the Pacers and another running buzzer beater to mentally shatter Toronto, birthing the LeBronto meme. He then played all 48 minutes of Game 7 to dethrone the Celtics in Boston. Meanwhile, the real finals was happening in the West. The Rockets were up 3-2 on the KD-led Warriors until Chris Paul pulled his hamstring. In Game 7, Houston missed 27 consecutive threes, an all-time solo run, and an epic Western Conference Finals, all just to serve up the most anticlimactic sweep in modern history. Number 7.
Man, that was Golden State chance, man. I mean, not Golden State. That was Houston chance, man. We just got to talk about that real quick. This one's going to be a quick one. I just want to nail down on the number, right? 27 consecutive threes in a row. These are players who are paid millions of dollars. What they eat, dream, sleep, walk, wake, I don't know, everything basketball. And they missed 27 consecutive. Do you know what consecutive means? I feel like, what's his name? The comedian. I can't think of his name. Consecutive. That means one after the other. 27. That's all I want to say. James Harden, Houston Rockets. Y'all had y'all chance. And there was so many people who wanted y'all to win. Because, you know, once dynasties start getting formed, people honestly go the opposite direction. People didn't like Tom Brady. Why? Because he won too much. They didn't like Golden State. Why? Because they were too good. You know, there's too many superstars on one team. Y'all had everything. And then you missed 27 consecutive in a row. Insane.
The Spurs were 5.2 seconds away from a title, and Heat fans were literally walking out of the building in disgust. Then a miracle happened. LeBron missed. Chris Bosh snagged the offensive rebound and found Ray Allen backpedaling to the corner. Allen, barely setting his feet, rose up and drilled one of the most iconic dynasty-saving shots in NBA history. That shot saved LeBron's legacy, but the entire finals was an all-time war. Game 1 gave...
Nah, did you hear what he said too? Because LeBron fans like to get mad at me. They like to get mad at me for saying Dwayne Wade and Ray Allen saved LeBron's career. Why are you getting mad at me? What would LeBron be without D-Wade? What would LeBron be without Ray Allen hitting that shot? I know what Tim Duncan would be if Ray Allen didn't hit that shot. Tim Duncan would be 6-0. Oh, my God. Oh, man, y'all know I love the Spurs. Y'all know I'm a Timmy D lover, man. Oh, man, but I'm just saying, don't get mad at me when I be talking about LeBron, right? You heard what the guy on the... Everybody thinks that I be trying to tell... Everybody, except for the LeBron fans, except for the LeBron sexuals, know this about LeBron James. You have to shout out Dwayne Wade and Ray Allen. You have to.
Tony Parker's impossible buzzer beater, where he tripped, fumbled, recovered, and banked in a shot with 0.1 on the shot clock to seal the win. Game 6 had LeBron, without his headband, turning into a different animal for a 32-point triple-double to survive overtime. And it all ended in Game 7, with LeBron hitting a clutch dagger jumper and Tim Duncan, in pure agony, pounding the floor after missing a point-blank hook shot that he would later say will always haunt me. And the run-up to that finals...
Man. Do y'all understand? I am a Tim Duncan fan. Man, Tim Duncan went 5-1 in the NBA Finals. He was one away from being 6-0. Listen, Tim Duncan is still the greatest power forward of all time to me. But I'm telling y'all right now that I don't care. There's nothing you could have brought up, right? If Tim Duncan would have went 6-0, and I love Jordan. I love Jordan. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a bigger Tim Duncan fan than Jordan. That's what I will admit to you. You know what I'm saying? While we talking sports right now, I will admit that to you. So all I would have needed to put Tim Duncan #1 all time in the GOAT category was for Tim Duncan to go 6-0 in the finals. And as a Tim Duncan fan, as a sports fan, when I look at you and I go, Tim Duncan is 6-0 in the finals. What can you say back? What can you say back? We got the 5-1. He is the greatest power forward of all time. But man, Ray Allen, if I ever meet you in real life, I got some things to say. Because I feel like Paul Pierce and KG when it comes to Ray Allen going to Miami. They was rivals. You weren't supposed to do that. Whew.
Was honestly just as legendary.
This is sports, man. They breaking up stuff.
Curry had his Hello World coming out.
That's what listen, do y'all remember what I said when the video started? Everybody was sleep on Golden State for some reason. When they played the Spurs, I knew that they were going to be a problem. I knew they were going to be a problem.
Orchestrating a massive upset and dropping 44 on the Spurs to announce a new era. This is where 5'8" Nate Robinson became a folk hero, scoring 23 points in a single quarter to win a triple overtime classic. And this is where Roy Hibbert delivered the soul-crushing, poster-denying block on Carmelo Anthony, a rejection that cemented the Pacers as the East's biggest threat. Number 6, 2014. The 2014 playoffs opened with the most chaotic first round in NBA history. 5 different series went to a Game 7, and a record 8 games went to overtime. Damian Lillard hit one of the coldest series-winning buzzer beaters ever to eliminate Houston. 37-year-old Vince Carter hit another buzzer beater. Paul Pierce had a series-ending block in Game 7. While all that was happening, the Donald Sterling scandal exploded, forcing Adam Silver to ban an owner for life during the playoffs. The aura didn't stop. The conference finals gave us the Lance Stevenson blows in LeBron's ear meme. Kevin Durant gave his "You the real MVP" speech. The finals were a masterpiece of redemption. The Spurs, avenging their 2013 loss, unleashed the beautiful game. It was a team ball clinic so dominant it broke the Heat's Big Three era for good, ending in a 4-1 beatdown. Number 5.
Now, hold on real quick. I want to talk about number 6 on the list. That's pretty nice. Now, I'm a Spurs fan. I got to admit that. I might put that number 1. But listen, real quick, I just got to throw in some shots real quick, because in the sports world and sports media, I am a sports influencer. That's what I call myself, you know what I'm saying? But there's a quick shots I got to say real quick. When LeBron James and the Miami Heat beat the San Antonio Spurs, they beat them by the hair on their chinny chin chin. When you talk about that 2013 finals, you got to talk about the fact that the Spurs put belt to Miami up and down the court. When the Spurs went back to the finals for that rematch against Miami, they said, y'all didn't beat us last year. That they looked at Miami in the face and said, y'all didn't beat us. We beat ourselves because we made too many mistakes. That's what they said. And they came out and 4-1 in the finals, sent them packing. It was one of the... Listen, I've never watched the NBA finals with so many blowouts be so good because of how the team played basketball. Because the entire thing was fluid motion of Spurs passing. It was Spurs at its peak. When the Spurs lost to the Heat, it had unlocked something in San Antonio. It had unlocked something from San Antonio where we would thought they were done for. They were out of their prime. It unlocked something in them. When they came back 4-1, did it. Hey, listen. LeBron fans, and I got to do it too. I got a buddy who's a LeBron fan too. And I tell him all the time, I would take Tim Duncan over LeBron James. I would take Tim Duncan over LeBron James. And then obviously they get to talking about, the longevity and the points and all of this and LeBron James. And I just look at him, I go, Tim Duncan up on LeBron in the finals 2-1. Get up with him. Tim Duncan is up 2-1 on LeBron in the finals. Get up with him. And when LeBron did beat Tim Duncan in the finals, he beat him by the hair on the chinny chin chin. The other 2 times, literally, Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs put belt to LeBron James. So listen, LeBron fans, I get it. I understand and I do respect how great LeBron is. But to a certain extent, to me, you ain't never going to be better than Tim Duncan because I didn't watch Tim Duncan do it to him twice. I watched Tim Duncan do it to him twice. I watched Tim. Listen, Tim Duncan's 5-1 in the finals. That's all I would say. Let's get to number 4 on the list.
The 2022 playoffs were an absolute bloodbath. It started when the Celtics handed Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving a brutal 4-0 sweep, a series where Tatum hit a Game 1 buzzer beater and Kyrie was too busy flipping off the crowd. Boston then had to survive a 7-game war against Giannis, who posted a ridiculous 200 points, 100 rebounds, and 50 assists in the series. But the real aura came from the upsets. Jimmy Butler gave us the all-time Tobias Harris over me. Then, facing elimination in Boston, he dropped 47 to force a Game 7.
Listen, I think some people think what went off with Jimmy Butler was a fluke, but I still believe in playoff Jimmy. I ain't gonna lie, if Golden State can somehow make it to the NBA playoffs once again and get through it fully healthy, I think they got a good team. The biggest question for me with the Warriors is they big man. They need big man and low-key a better bench. But the stars they have with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, I just believe in them. Do you see the type of swagger that Jimmy Butler has, how he is with the competition? Tobias Harris over me. I just believe in playoff Jimmy.
In the final seconds. The main event, however, was Luka. The 64-win Suns were up 2-0. In Game 7, at their house, Luka had 27 points at halftime. The entire Suns team had 27. It was a public execution that broke a franchise and gave Chris Paul his 5th 2-0 series lead collapse, an NBA record. This all led to Steph Curry's shining moment. Down 2-1 in the finals, he finally got his finals MVP, cementing the Warriors dynasty. Number 4, 2020. The bubble. While the world was shut down, the NBA stepped up and gave us the entertainment we needed. The weird, sterile, high-stakes environment produced some of the purest aura we've ever seen. The first round gave us the all-time scoring duel between Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell, trading 50-point games. Then Luka, on a sprained ankle, hit a 43-point triple-double step-back buzzer beater against the Clippers. The second round gave us
Pandemic Paul George with Kawhi Leonard. I don't really want to talk about that, man.
0.5-second buzzer beater to save a series in the legendary 3-1 collapse of the Clippers, where Kawhi and Paul George flatlined. The conference finals were even better. Bam Adebayo had one of the greatest blocks in history on Jason Tatum, and Anthony Davis hit a game-winning 3 against the Nuggets. The finals were a battle of wills. The Lakers on a win for Kobe mission against a half-injured Miami team led by Jimmy Butler, who delivered a 40-point triple-double and played himself to the point of complete exhaustion, creating the iconic image of him leaning over the barrier, having left everything on the floor. The bubble was a once-in-a-lifetime event. I know some people try and say it shouldn't count and all that, but this was some empty gym, pure hooping. Beautiful. Number 3.
I ain't gonna lie. The bubble to me is, listen, I don't try to put asterisks around the bubble or anything like that, but the bubble to me is just something that almost exists outside of, like, I don't even know how to say it, like NBA history to a certain extent. And I know that may not make sense, but I was trying to figure out the best way to say it. It was just such crazy circumstances. It was such crazy things going on in the world. It's the only time in NBA history that anything like it has happened, right? That they talk about the lockout seasons and stuff like that. I understand, but even with the lockout seasons, they sold tickets, they were in stadiums to a certain extent. It's a lot closer to a regular NBA season and regular NBA circumstances than the bubble. The bubble was just a lot different. Now, I'm not trying to discredit the bubble. Like, I feel the bubble happened. We acknowledged the bubble. You know, they got it done. But as far as like ranking, I feel like the bubble should have just been 15th just because of that. Like, you know, I want something that we can open compare to other NBA finals and other NBA playoff runs and stuff like that. And just with how different the circumstances is, I don't think we can do that with the bubble. It's just, to me, something that happened and, like, I don't know. It should have been 15. Should have been 15.
This is the only postseason in NBA history with 2 series-ending buzzer beaters. First, Damian Lillard's 37-foot bomb over Paul George to cap a 50-point night, followed by the coldest wave goodbye in sports history. Then, Kawhi Leonard's Game 7 miracle against the Sixers, the first walk-off Game 7 winner ever. A shot that bounced 4 times on the rim as the arena held its breath, leaving Joel Embiid in tears. This was the first playoffs without LeBron since 2005, which made for the most exciting Eastern Conference playoffs we'd seen in years. The number 8 Clippers staged the largest comeback in NBA history, erasing a 31-point deficit against the Warriors. Steph Curry, with KD injured, went scoreless in the first half of an elimination game against Houston, then dropped 33 in the second half to end their rivalry for good. In the finals, we saw the death of a super team. Kevin Durant came back and immediately ruptured his Achilles. Klay Thompson tore his ACL, then limped back out of the tunnel to hit his free throws. It was a brutal, cursed end that allowed Kawhi to complete his legendary run, securing his finals MVP and bringing an entire country its first ever title. Number 2.
I love that. That was amazing. Listen, but the injuries killed it, man. And I know a lot of people always try to just listen. When you talk about discredit, because I'm a Kawhi Leonard fan, they tried to discredit Kawhi Leonard's Toronto run. Like, that man went there for 1 year and did what DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry themselves couldn't do for how many years? They called it LeBronto. They called it LeBronto until Kawhi got there and took them to the finals. And listen, I talk about this all the time. I understand KD and Klay got hurt, but man, that makes it tough. That does make it tough. But at the same time, last time I seen Kawhi Leonard healthy on a court playing Golden State, he was up by 25. His team was up by 25. When I tell y'all I wanted them to be healthy, so Kawhi, I believe the Raptors would have beat them anyways. And a lot of people don't feel that way. But listen, I watched Kawhi Leonard and the San Antonio Spurs destroy the super team that's the Miami Heat. And I said this before. I watched them destroy the super team, which is the Miami Heat. You know, if he could disassemble the Marvel's Avengers, why couldn't he go disassemble the DC's Justice League, huh? And the Golden State Warriors next. And the last time I saw him on the court versus them, he was up by 25. Pascal Siakam, Serge Ibaka, Danny Green, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet. The Toronto Raptors squad was stacked. And on top of that, they had a two-way superstar. They was going to win that series anyways, man. They was going to win that. KD's not a leader. KD's not a leader. He's backing down from that smoke, man. We've seen it his entire career. Kawhi Leonard, all he does is bring the smoke when he's healthy. When he's healthy. That's it. That's my tad bit.
In one corner, we had the new super team villain.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm interested to see what number one is. Because honestly, throughout the years, this has stood tall and long as one of the best championship runs ever. Dirk Nowitzki was just absolutely amazing. Listen, I used to do Dirk Nowitzki's shot. That's how good Dirk Nowitzki was through this finals run. People around the world was doing Dirk Nowitzki's shot. Dirk Nowitzki had that, what do they call it? Did they call it a rainbow shot or something like that? He shoots that through the ball goes so high it come down will be purely nothing but net. This was absolutely amazing, man. And then what the competition they played too.
Chris Bosh.
But we also know you three kings came down here to win championships. Not one championship.
Not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven.
They had become the most hated team in sports. In the other corner, we had a lone 32-year-old superstar on an aging roster, Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk's path was a gauntlet of legends. In round one, he had to survive Brandon Roy's last ever miracle performance, a 23-point comeback where Roy scored 18 in the fourth quarter.
Man, Brandon Roy was like that, man. Injuries have really took away some great careers from us. You know, I always remember Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy was a dog in Portland, man. Shout out Brandon Roy.
Defending champion Lakers. Dallas demolished
and they did it to him.
A 4-0 sweep. The series ended with a 36-point blowout in Game 4, where Jason Terry hit 9 threes and a frustrated Andrew Bynum got ejected for a cheap shot elbow on JJ Barea. It was a humiliating end that sent Phil Jackson into retirement. Then they took on the Thunder. Dirk opened the series with a 48-point masterclass on just 15 shots, going a perfect 24 for 24 from the free throw line. But the finals were his masterpiece. While LeBron and Wade were busy on camera, fake coughing to mock Dirk's 102 fever.
Talk about it. Talk about what was going on, bro. Talk about the fact that they made fun of Dirk and Dirk came out and put belt to behind on the super team. At that time, everybody was saying the GOAT has arrived. LeBron James is going to be better than Michael Jordan. And this is the start of it right here. And Dirk Nowitzki at the smooth age, what was he, 33, 34, 35, going against a prime LeBron James said, hold on, you're gonna have to wait your turn. I've been battling in the Western Conference for years, going against the Spurs, going against the Lakers, because y'all can't forget that's where the Mavericks were. They were playing some of this is when they used to call the Eastern Conference the Leastern Conference because of how bad the competition was in the Eastern Conference, the Leastern Conference. Dirk Nowitzki said, I could never get through. But this year is my year. You're going to have to hold on, young blood. He went out there and did that.
Hit clutch shots in the fourth quarter of Game 4. He hit a game winner with a torn tendon in his finger. And as the chosen one melted down, scoring just 8 points in that same Game 4 and only 18 total points in all 6 fourth quarters combined, Dirk and his vet.
And throw in the fact that Jason Terry and JJ Barea was locking him up. Throw in the fact... This is why I have such a tough relationship with LeBron James fans. But I tell y'all, I be trying to cool it on a lot of stuff, and I always shout out LeBron. But it's like it's never enough for LeBron James fans. It's like they literally won't settle unless you say LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. You can say everything else in the world about this man, LeBron James. But unless you say LeBron is better than Michael Jordan, they are not happy. And that's where I'll be butting heads with LeBron. So, shout out LeBron James. You know, when he retires, I done watched this man play basketball for 20 plus years, man. Man, when he retires, it's gonna feel different. It's gonna be crazy. Listen, man, I don't even know that. So I'm throwing out all the respect to LeBron James, but at the same time, remember, Jason Terry and JJ Barea clamped him up in the finals, and Tim Duncan is up 2-1 on him. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dismantled the super team. Not only did Dirk take down the stacked Heatles, but he also silenced his haters. For years, people were calling him soft. This would put an end to all of that. Number 1, 2016. It began with the 73-9 Warriors, the team that broke the 96 Bulls record and had the league's first ever unanimous MVP in Steph Curry. They seemed destined to be crowned the greatest team ever. But in the very first round, the script began to tear. Steph Curry slipped on a wet spot in Houston and sprained his MCL, knocking him out for weeks. Elsewhere, Dwayne Wade was turning back the clock to win a 7-game war, and the Raptors finally won a Game 7, breaking a 15-year franchise curse. In the second round, Steph Curry made his return. Coming off the bench against Portland, he was quiet until overtime. Then he exploded for an NBA record 17 points in overtime, draining logo threes and screaming to the crowd, "I'm back, I'm back." At the same time, LeBron's Cavs were busy setting their own records, hitting an absurd 25 three-pointers in a single game against the Hawks. But the real shock came from the Thunder, who dismantled the 67-win Spurs, ending their dynasty in a 6-game upset.
I'm not gonna do it. I ain't gonna be petty, man. But that certain things about, listen, I told you I'm a Spurs fan. There was a lot of years we could have really won a lot more championships. But the Western Conference was crazy, man. The Western Conference was crazy. And shout out one of our past rivals, still our current rivals. And that's what I honestly, one of the most parts I love about today's NBA. It's like we've gone in a loop. The Spurs and Thunder are rivals again, guys. This is amazing. Denver's up there. Listen, this is like back in the mid-2000s. We're back again. But yeah.
For the conference finals. In the East, the Raptors, in their first Eastern Conference Finals ever, actually managed to steal 2 games from the Cavs, but LeBron's dominance was too much. The real drama was in the West. The KD and Russ Thunder stormed out to a 3-1 lead on the 73-9 Warriors. It seemed like it was over. The unanimous MVP was getting sent home. And then, Game 6 Clay was born. On the road in OKC, facing elimination, Klay Thompson delivered one of the greatest performances in history. He went nuclear, hitting a playoff record 11 threes and dropping 41 points to rip the soul out of the Thunder crowd and single-handedly save the Warriors.
This was when they was talking about Game 6 Clay. Game 6 Clay was a thing.
Their 3-1 comeback. It was Kevin Durant's final game in an OKC jersey. That brings us to the finals, the rematch. The 73-9 Warriors versus LeBron James. And just like in the Western Conference Finals, the Warriors went up 3-1. Then, the turning point. Draymond Green, after a swipe at LeBron's groin, was suspended for Game 5. LeBron and Kyrie became the first teammates in Finals history to both drop 41 points in the same game. In Game 6, Steph Curry, in a rare show of frustration, fouled out, angrily threw his mouthguard into the crowd, and was ejected. It all came down to a road Game 7 for the Cavs, which gave us the 2 most iconic back-to-back plays in NBA history. First, the block, and then the shot. The Cavs completed the impossible, the first and only 3-1 comeback in NBA Finals history. We got the legendary LeBron meme. They dethroned the 73-9 juggernaut Warriors. LeBron unanimously won Finals MVP after leading both teams in all 5 major stats. It broke the 52-year curse for the city of Cleveland. The back-to-back 3-1 comebacks are just so hard to beat. This playoffs was special.
There is a certain kind of person.
Ranking the last 15 NBA playoffs from least to most.
Now, I'm gonna be honest. The top 2, I got no problem with, honestly. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna move it around at all. I'm gonna let that stand how it is. We will give LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers the most aura for coming back 3-1 on the Golden State Warriors. We will. I remember that. It was crazy, honestly. You know, I'm not a LeBron James fan, but I would say, I don't know, it was impressive. 73-9 Golden State Warriors. Unanimous MVP Steph Curry. And they were down. They had to win 3 in a row. Only reason it's tough for me is because what Dirk Nowitzki did is really like super tough in my opinion. But honestly, I'm fine with calling them to a tie. for number one. LeBron James, you got it. Listen, man, I told you, I ain't no LeBron James hater, because even thinking back at it now, I'm just like, dang, man, they really did do that. It was crazy to watch and see. Honestly, I did not believe that LeBron James could come back. You don't bring up the Draymond Green suspension. I do not care about that right now. Golden State should have handled their business. You were up 3-1. Handle your business. You needed one more. It's the same thing we say to KD when we talk about KD when he was up 3-1 on the Warriors. You should have handled your business. So I'm not going to change my tone now. I like to be consistent. The consistency on this channel is if you get up 3-1 on one, 3-1 on someone, you better win. You better win. That is the standard we have set, because you only have to win one more game. And if you are like that, or if you're the superstar we think you are, if your team is as good as we think it is, then you should win one more game. Hey, man, this was fun, man. This was fun. I ain't gonna lie. It brought up some moments I have forgotten about. There's a lot of things that go on in life, a lot of things we gotta deal with. The years kind of fly by a little bit, but at the same time, they can be slow. Like, what's the thing? Time is a sub-contrast something. Listen, I'm trying to be smart, but my brain is short-circuiting. You feel me? Time is a concept. There we go. I said construct. It's a concept. You know what I'm saying? So it was really fun going through this list, man. I hope y'all enjoyed reliving some great NBA moments, reliving some great NBA history, man. The NBA playoffs is coming up. The NBA playoffs is coming up, and I'm trying to get ready, man. I'm getting all my basketball knowledge together, all my basketball IQ. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do an NBA playoff prediction this year again. So, you know, I'm at a loss for words. I just love sports. I love sports. I feel like we get to this point in every video and I'm just like, y'all, I love basketball. I love football. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. But that is going to be the video. Maybe in the comment section, comment your favorite team. Not your favorite team. Which NBA playoff moment or NBA champion do you think had the most over the last 15 years? Down below, comment yours. Besides that, that's going to be the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. We out.